There are many anime series in the world. Many anime. But there's one that stands taller than the rest when it comes to animation. Demon Slayer. I don't mean tall like guys who lie about their height on Tinder. No, I mean real tall. Like the guy that she tells you not to worry about, but you should be worried about him. And before you know it, she's giving you the it's not you, it's me talk. But. Oh yeah. Coming back to Demon Slayer and its quality. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 Demon Slayer moments when it comes to animation with heart. Aww. These are the moments that makes genuine emotions with some genius animation. Or to put it into simple words, where art meets heart. At number 5, we have a scene from season 3 episode 11. No, not the slashy bits. It's a scene where all the fighting is over and Tanjiro is crying unconsolably at the loss of Nezuko. And so are we, goddammit. So are we. And then suddenly, you see the camera angle shift and you see Demon Slayer showing the brightest dawn that it has ever shown. This wasn't the unhopeful sunrise that we saw at the end of Mugen Train. This was the sunrise of hope. Forget the colors, you see a shot where it genuinely seems like it was shot on a Sony RA7, where it's showing that somebody is walking towards a weeping Tanjiro and then the camera turns around and you see the scene. The scene that reminded us what all this fighting was for. Nezuko. And before you can even take a sigh of relief, you are hit with a second realization. That she's walking in the sunlight. After years of blood, pain and demons, Tanjiro finally broke, thinking he'd lost his reason for fighting. But there she is, standing, completely fine. And then she smiles. In that instant, every ounce of suffering, every broken bone, every sleepless night, it all meant something. The music fades, the colors warm, and you realize this show isn't just about slaying demons. It's about finding the light after the darkness. No words, no flashy effects, just raw emotions. This is where Ufotable cemented themselves as legends in my book that go beyond anime. Because this scene just doesn't show that they're great at animation, it shows that they're great into getting into the psyche of these characters. That basically they put themselves in the shoes of these imaginary beings and then try to match the art to what is supposed to be inside the heart of the character. Now back to shits and giggles.
I think I can smell shite.
Number 4, the legendary episode 19, the one that broke the internet, overnight doubled Twitter's server running costs, and gave Map a nightmare. Yeah, that's right, I'm not gonna call it fucking X or whatever the fuck it is.
Ooh, you're odd.
I mean, look at this. Look at this. When that music hits, it sounds like an antidepressant on steroid. It's art, it's emotion, it's therapy. Tanjiro and Nezuko didn't just fight Rui, they fought the entire fucking concept of budget constraint on animation studios. Is that how you say his name? Rui? I don't know. But coming back to the topic, even people who never watched anime saw this and went, okay, fine, maybe cartoons can make me cry. In fact, this singular scene had more budget than my entire education. If emotions somehow had the capability of turning RTX on, it would look like this. And to top it all, when Tanjiro says that final line, you realize this show wasn't about winning, it was about family, about love, about refusing to let pain have the last word. Number 3, Infinity Castle as a whole, just fucking all the scenes inside it. Or as I like to call it, the place where Ufotable said, screw logic, we're building a cathedral of chaos. This isn't animation, this is geometry going through a midlife crisis. Floors become ceilings, ceiling become floors, and you spend half the episode wondering if the animators were just spinning the camera for fun. The way the camera moves here, it's hypnotic. It doesn't feel like watching a scene, it feels like you're falling into the world and into the mind of the mangaka. It honestly reminded me of when I watched Inception for the first time as a kid. You know, that one scene where the city folds upside down and you're just sitting there wondering, oh my god, can movies do that? Except here, it's like Ufotable took that same moment, gave it caffeine, rage issues and $1 trillion in budget and said, cool, now we'll do it every 5 seconds. Every frame is alive, the camera slides through walls, flips the room upside down. In fact, the first time we enter the castle, it's not with Tanjiro. It's with pure chaos. Doma smiling.
I found something cheaper than therapy. I just accepted the fact that I'm a fucking psycho.
Akaza swinging, and somehow we're terrified and laughing at the same time. It's basically Hell's version of a board meeting. So, very close to an Amazon board meeting. The scale is ridiculous. Every corridor feels endless, every light pulse feels alive. You're not just watching the characters fight, you're actually watching reality itself have a panic attack. It's like the castle is breathing, stretching, moving, reacting. Every camera moment, every camera spin feels deliberate. Like Ufotable saying, we didn't just animate this, we architected it. If heaven had architecture and hell had a budget, you'd get this. But even in a place where gravity breaks, Akaza's story grounded us. Beyond the spinning ceilings, the spinning walls, and the spinning Tanjiro, Akaza's story grounded us. A monster who remembered he was human, dying not because he lost the fight, but because he found peace. But even in all that madness, the spinning walls, the gravity gone rogue, there's heart here. Akaza finding peace. It's simple but effective. It's strange, isn't it? Inside a world that feels completely out of this world, and from the perspective of a demon, you find one of the most human moments. Number 2. Akaza vs Rengoku. Let's be real, this moment lives rent-free in every Demon Slayer fan's brain. Rengoku vs Akaza. Fire vs fury, passion vs pain. This wasn't just a fight, this was emotion choreographed at 60 frames per second. Every clash burns like your ex's Instagram story at 2 AM. People who know. Every punch lands like an emotional gut shot. When Rengoku smiled through the hole in his chest, that wasn't animation. That was my soul leaving my body. Ufotable didn't just draw the scene, they carved it into anime history with a flaming sword. Also gave us the best soundtrack of all time. This is one of the few fights that etched both the characters into anime history. Usually when 3 characters fight, one walks away with the fan base, but here Rengoku and Akaza both did. Fights like this don't come often. Pain vs Naruto, Itachi vs Sasuke, Meruem vs Netero, Mappa vs Label Loss. Yeah, I went there. Moments where battle stops being about victory and becomes a conversation between philosophies. Rengoku didn't lose here. He proved something. He proved that strength without kindness is just noise. When he's down, bleeding, barely holding on, he remembers his mother. Her words echoing in that flashback. Those who are strong must protect the weak. In that moment you realize he isn't fighting for glory or for revenge. He's fighting to live up to the promise he made as a child. A promise whispered to him by the one person who taught him what strength really means. Then right before the end, she appears again. She doesn't tell him to fight harder or to live like in every other anime, and she simply smiles and says, "You did well." And that's it. The entire weight of his life, his ideals, his warmth, all validated in few quiet words. It's not a victory, it's peace. And Akaza? He wasn't the villain in this scene. He stood out immediately. Not as a monster hunting for blood, but a warrior looking for someone who could understand him. Just someone who could understand him. He didn't want to eat Rengoku, he wanted to reach him. Every punch felt like a conversation. When he kept begging the Hashira to become a demon, it wasn't temptation, it was desperation. Because in that plea, you hear what it means to be immortal, to fight forever, but to never truly connect. That's the loneliness of a demon. Endless strength, but no one to share it with. In that scene, Demon Slayer delved into the psyche of what it means to be immortal, what it means to be a demon, and how lonely that life truly is. Akaza wasn't hunting, he was searching, not for food like other demons, but for a bond. Every strike said, "Don't leave me alone in eternity." That's not villainy, that's tragedy. With abs. Who won? We did. The audience. As it showed two perspectives of characters who are both chasing warmth. Yet Rengoku achieves it despite dying and technically losing. But Akaza doesn't. despite living and winning. Because this wasn't a fight about life and death. It was about two souls chasing warmth from the opposite ends of existence. Rengoku finds it even as he burns out. He dies surrounded by love, pride and peace. Akaza doesn't. He walks away alive but colder than ever. Number 1. The most flashy fight ever animated. Explosions, poison, glitter, abs, and more camera spins than a Michael Bay movie. Tengen's out here fighting like he's auditioning for Fast and Furious Demon Drift. Every slash looks like it cost more than the entire budget of One Punch Man Season 3. Gyutaro's scythe spinning in mid-air, the fireworks, the synchronized attacks. This isn't a battle, this is a rave sponsored by Family Trauma. By the end, everybody's screaming, bleeding, crying, glowing, everything. And I'm sad. Not because it's over, not because season is over, nothing like that, no. I'm sad because I know these animators haven't slept in 3 months. But here's the crazy thing. Beneath all the chaos, beneath the motion blur and the visual insanity, there's heart. Because this isn't Tengen showing off. It's a man who wanted a quiet life, fighting one last time to protect the next generation of slayers who still have dreams. And his 3 sexy wives. And emotions, full of it. It's Tanjiro and his friends, broken and poisoned, refusing to stay down.
I could do this all day.
And in that one moment, when the smoke clears, you realize Ufotable didn't just animate a battle. They captured exhaustion, they made pain look beautiful, and they turned suffering into choreography. Somehow they managed to capture that feeling of being trapped and clawing desperately to get out. Because you see, in Rengoku's fight, there was hope that dawn was around the corner. In this fight, no such thing. No backup. It's just those slayers and their weapons against an upper moon. And then they finally do it. They finally win. But that's not what this arc was about. You see, demons care about winning. What each Hashira, each fight in Demon Slayer teaches us is that life is more than just about winning. Because this whole arc, for all its flash and fury, wasn't about winning. It's about living loudly, even if it's your last song. That's what made this number 1 for me, because Tengen didn't care about winning. He might as well have thought that he will die, but it didn't matter to him, because to him, it's about living loudly. So yeah, explosions, poison, glitter, abs, that sounds Demon Slayer. But what makes it special are the silent moments, the emotional stuff that is built into the animation. That's where you feel it, the exact place where heart meets art. If you like this video, please like and subscribe since this is my first video on YouTube. Goodbye, take care, and as always,